Good evening, everyone. Dear students, in the previous class, as we have discussed one and two more questions we are discussing. In that, we have discussed what are the isomers. So, compounds which are same molecular formula but different structural formula are called isomers. The process is called isomerism. And example is normal butane and isobutane, N-butane and isobutane, which has a molecular formula C4H10. Right. So the next question is, what potential difference must be applied to 10 ohm in order to applied sorry so question is, what potential difference must be applied over 10 ohm in order that the current of 2.5 ampere through it, right? So in order to solve that, here dear children, we can solve this question. We know the formula, potential difference V is equal to I into R. So V is given, we must find out the V is equal to I into R, I is equal to V by V into, I is equal to V into R is equal to V into I. So V is nothing but 10 and I is nothing but 2.5, so which is nothing but 25.0, nothing but 25 ampere, right? So this is the answer for this. And then draw the diagram of the flower and label the female reproductive part of it. You know that how to draw the flower and what are the parts of the flower, right? So just now I discussed this. V is equal to I into R, formula. So so V is equal to I into R. So I is how much? 2.5 into 10, which is nothing but 25.0, which is nothing but 25, correct? Right. So the next question is, draw the diagram of a flower. Do you know how to draw the diagram of the flower? Kindly neatly draw the diagram and label the female reproductive part of it. Next question is, how does adrenal glands being in a chemical coordination in our body? Explain briefly. So about the adrenal gland, it is also the question which is pertaining to the biology. So wherein the adrenal gland is a part wherein which is in the brain, I think, right? So which secretes the hormones. So what is the function of it? You need to explain it a little briefly. So the next question, how are the products of photosynthesis from the leaves get transported to all the parts of the plant? Okay, this is also biology question. And how is oxygen rich blood from the lungs supplied to all the cells in the human body? So this is also pertaining to the biology questions. So you kindly write down these biology questions, and all questions also you write in your notes while you are solving the question paper. And kindly don't copy it. If you don't know the answer, kindly go through it and write without seeing. And next, draw a neat label diagram of a reaction of acid with the metals using the zinc granules and checking gas with the burning. Okay, so here a diagram which is from the acid base and salts second chapter, and you know that the zinc granules we use in that. So gas which is liberated by the downward displacement of the water, which is the hydrogen gas, children. And you can draw this, you know this many times you have draw this, and kindly draw this diagram. And or one more diagram is given here. Draw a neat label diagram of electrolytic refining of copper, right? Children, you know that in the electrolytic refining of copper, you know that the copper is being refined, wherein CuSO4 copper sulfate solution is taken, and two electrodes like cathode and anode is taken, which is on the DC current. So on passing the current, so impure copper on a cathode it get melts and get attaches on the anode, and when in the end the pure copper plates size is increased, means mass is increased, and impure copper plates is decreased, and anode mud which is get collected at the bottom of the refining process, right? So this diagram also, you know, kindly draw it very neatly. Okay. The next question is 24th question. So what is geothermal energy? How it will be useful to us in production of electricity? Okay. So this is a also this question also we have discussed in the class. Geothermal energy. We know that geothermal energy, which is refers to the energy within 10 kilometers of the earth. There are few hotspots which present in India, right? Like Tatpani in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and these the temperature in the geothermal energy is around 1300 degrees Celsius, and this can be utilized in the production of electricity, right? So how it will be useful to us in the production of electricity in Kodidana? So it is useful to us in the production of electricity through the that high temperature we produce the steam when passes through the turbines we can produce the electricity, right? So these are some two more questions we have discussed, and next fourth main is answer the following questions 3 into 9. So 2 mark 8 questions, 3 mark 9 questions, which are 27 marks total. So next question is draw the diagram of electric generator and explain its principle of working, right? So we need to draw the diagram, and we need to explain the its children. Here you are asked for the diagram along with the explanation. So here we know that so generator which produce the mechanical energy is get converted into electrical energy. Generator or the dynamo are the same. You know that there are rectangular coil in between the south and north poles of the magnet, and there's a shaft, and it consists of the diagram consists of carbon brushes, and there's a device which is called the galvanometer which is connected to that. So galvanometer shows the deflection, which does mean that the production of electricity. So the rectangular coil you can name it as ABCD, and working of this I can tell you, kindly write down that if possible, and after that after watching the video, after that pause it and write neatly. So working can say that the armature coil ABCD is in the horizontal position. Now the coil is rotated clockwise. The coil cuts the magnetic lines of force. The arms AB moves upward while the arm CD moves downwards. According to the Fleming's right hand rule, the induced current flows from A to B in arm AB and C to D in arm CD. That is, the induced current flows along with the ABCD. The induced current flows in the circuit through the brushes B2 to B1. After half rotation of the armature, the arm CD moves upward, and AB moves downwards. The induced current now flows in the reverse direction, that is along DCBA. The current flows from B1 to B2. Thus, the direction of current in the external circuit changes after every half rotation. Right? So, this is exactly the explanation. You need to write it. No need to write the very big explanation for that. Just now, what I told you, you kindly pause it and write neatly if possible. And that if you had that, or if you remember that, that's enough. So kindly working of electric generator is that you have to thorough with the diagram as well as the explanation that is working, right? So next question is pertaining to the biology. So what is sexual maturation? How does sexual maturation occurs? So what is the function of placenta during the pregnancy? So all this one actually these are three questions which is combined to the 1 mark, three questions combined to 3 question, one as in one question. So what you need to do is kindly write briefly. So what is sexual maturation first, and how does sexual maturation occurs? Few points regarding that, and what is the function of placenta during the pregnancy. That points you have to write for the answer, right? And our next question is also pertaining to the biology, that is draw the diagram of showing the structure of nephron and label the parts. So nephron, you know that nephron diagram in the biology. So kindly write that diagram, draw that diagram neatly, and label the parts. Just you may get this question for the 3 marks. And next one, the general question, that is suggest some approaches towards the conservation of a forest. So what are the methods, children? Methods of conservation of a forest. So 3 mark question it is. Minimum 6 to 8 points you have to write for that. I just read out the points, kindly go through that. And the first point we can write in that is we have to create an awareness among the people of the need for conserving forest. The second point you can write, whenever we are forced to cut down the trees for essential purposes, it should be compensated by the planting new trees. Third point, a scientific management of exploitation of forest produce should be observed. Fourth point, poaching should be strictly banned by law. Fifth point, all kinds of encroaching into forest land should be prevented. Sixth point, all countries should preserve the required area of land as forests. Next point will be the last point, which is control of overgrazing and building national parks, sanctuaries, and biosphere. Okay, biosphere reserve. So last point will be control of overgrazing and building national parks, sanctuaries, and biosphere reserve. So these are the some of the points that you can write to explain the question of 3 mark questions. In that they suggest some approaches toward the conservation of forest. So next question is, what is Dobryn's law of trades? Why it is discarded? Dear children, you know that this question is pertaining from the lesson which is periodic classification of elements in the chemistry. And answer for this question is, I just read out, kindly listen it very carefully. So what the Dobryn's law of trade says: according to this law, in certain trades group of free elements, the atomic mass of the central element was the arithmetic mean of the atomic mass of the other two elements. Isn't it? This we have discussed in the classes. So the middle element is roughly the average of other two elements, right? We have discussed it. So in that, here I have used the word arithmetic mean. So it doesn't mean, it means that you can write also the middle element is roughly the calculation of other two elements. But in some trades all three elements possess nearly the same atomic masses, so the law was rejected, right? So limitations of the Dobriner's law of trades: he could identify only few such trades. You know that only 6 elements are identified, 6 or 9 elements, right, are identified in the in its trades, and so the law could not gain importance. You have to write this much: limitations of the Dobriner trades. He could identify only few such trades, and so the law could not gain importance, right? So this is also one of the major drawback of Dobriner's law of trades, right? Fine. So children, in today's class we have discussed about 29th question. Nothing but 1 2 3 4 5 questions of 3 mark. So next the 9 questions, another 4 questions, and a few 4 mark questions we'll discuss in the tomorrow's class. So kindly, as I solve every day in the online class, you can solve these questions neatly in one of the book. So we can solve everyday few questions, and there are few sets of question papers with me. I think it is better that every day we can solve as many as questions that we can solve if possible, so that you can have a better grip on a subject. I hope you're all are safe at home, and you know that this pandemic is especially this second wave, it is really worst and spreading all over our families, and many peoples it is getting affected for this. So kindly be at home, stay safe, and don't go outside without any reasons, especially the boys. Don't think that it is study holidays which has given to you, right? Means it's not your vacations, it's a pandemic all over the world, and especially in India nowadays it's really very dangerous it is. So kindly don't go out of the house, and the time you just utilize for your studies, so that you can score the very good marks in your examination, right? So we shall continue in the next class, right? So kindly go through all these questions, and write neatly and solve neatly in your books, and we shall continue the next 30th question. It is also easy one, and rest all 3 mark questions, and if possible 4 mark questions we are going to solve in the next class. So till then children, take care, and bye bye.